And good morning. It is the first day of February and on 2021. Hope your January went well. Hope you're able to have a decent month. Better yet, I hope you had a fantastic month. If not, we've got a new lease on life. It's a brand new month. You need a start point. Here it is, February the 1st. My name is Al Gavada. Today we're going to be talking about what you think about. I was looking at success.com and I said, I wonder what the earliest article is on the motivation segment, right? Under motivation, what would be the oldest article that they've had there? And I looked back, and this one's back from February 1st, 2008. So 13 years ago, this was the article that was listed. It says it was made by administration, and the title is exactly what we have today. Think about what you think about. And it says there are six simple words in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, that have made all the difference to me. Are you ready? Six simple words in Think and Grow Rich that have made all the difference to me. Here they are. We become what we think about. Let me repeat that. We become what we think about. And it's funny because when I was looking at that quote, or when I did the search on what was the oldest article on motivation that they had on here, and it happened to be this one, it kind of blew my mind because just yesterday I was reading a book and I highlighted a quote and I forwarded it to myself so I could talk about it today. And this just so happens to be the quote. Since belief is all important, it is essential to guard your thoughts. And as your beliefs will be shaped to a very great extent by the things you observe and think about, it is important that you should command your attention. And here the will comes into use. For it is by your will that you determine upon what things your attention shall be fixed. So, what exactly is this particular quote that I messaged to myself yesterday? What is that saying? It is literally saying, think about what you think about. So it kind of blew my mind that it kind of a congruence of things that it's weird that I thought about this quote stuck out to me yesterday, and then the article that I pick up today, the oldest article in motivation section of success.com, is talking about thoughts. So here we go. Here's some bullet points that we're going to be using regarding thinking about what you think about and what we become what we think about. Here we go. Think about what you think about. If you catch yourself thinking about unhappiness, ill health, and adversity, change the channel and think about what you want to happen. If you look back, and again, look, the book that I'm reading, The Science of Getting Rich, was published in 1910. Think and Grow Rich was published in 1937. The book that was inspired by The Science of Getting Rich was published on in 2006. And you're asking yourself, well, what book was published in 2006 about a book that was in 1910? That book in 2006 was called The Secret. The Secret is a self-help book by Rhonda Byrne based on, well, it was released in a film based in March 2006, and then later the same year as a book. So the book is actually influenced, it says, by Wallace Wattles' book, The Science of Getting Rich, which she received sometime from her daughter during a time of personal trauma a couple years before. So she took the book, The Science of Getting Rich, made it into the movie The Secret, which then became a book, The Secret, and that was huge. It was huge, the book, The Secret. It all goes back to The Science of Getting Rich. So, what am I saying with this? That means this is nothing new. This is even before 1910, even before The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. This thought process of focusing on what you want, focusing on what you want to happen. thinking about what you think about is nothing new. It's been going on for, I guess, as long as thought and as long as thought and as long as wanting something to the point where there's nothing that's going to keep it from you. That's as long as it's been going on. So the first bullet point: think about what you think about. If you catch yourself thinking about unhappiness, ill health, and adversity, change the channel and think about what you want to happen. What do you want to happen in your life? Do you want to just go again? And I keep going back to this. You want to go with the flow and just kind of meander through life and take whatever life gives you, because life will give you what you accept. Life will give you what you accept. If you don't accept it, think, what do you want? And focus on it and visualize it and think about what you want to happen. The second bullet point in the article, which is linked, by the way, in the comments, it says, when something happens by chance, this one's really good. When something happens by chance, follow up. Lucky people tend to notice and act on good things that occur by happenstance. Did you meet somebody by accident that you're like, what? That's kind of, and there's something there that can benefit you in some sort of way. Because remember, what we're talking about is thinking about what we think about and asking for something better in our life. Because if your life is perfect, it's probably a result of what you focused your time and energy and thoughts on. That's why you are where you are. If you're not where you want to be, that's what we need to do. Focus on what you want to happen in your life. So when something happens by chance, that's a universe sending someone or something to you. Remember, you got that intelligent substance that makes up the entire universe, and you're saying, this is what I want, and it goes into play. It starts moving things into play, positions into play, things to be created. You're not competing against anybody. You're creating what's going to be yours. And it starts going your way. The universe, remember, the secret is like you're calling out to it. You're envisioning it. You're calling out to it. You're asking for it. Here it is. When something happens by chance, follow up. Lucky people tend to notice and act on good things that occur by happenstance. As I'm reading that, I think to myself, there's something wrong with that. Lucky people. I don't particularly agree with that. I don't agree with lucky people. When something happens by chance, follow up. Focused people. People that are envisioning what they want for themselves in the future. Focused people tend to notice and act on good things that occur by happenstance. Don't miss that opportunity. If an opportunity comes your way that in somehow, way, shape, or form is going to change your life for the better, follow up. If for example, something comes your way, something happens by chance, and you follow up, and it's not what what you expected, or doesn't turn out to be what it was, next. Look for something else, right? But envision what you want and call out for it. Visualize it as if it were already in existence. Start making plans for it. Just visualize it deeply and focus on it. Because if you focus on the negatives, if you focus on things that are not beneficial to you, you may be attracting that. So don't change the channel on those. When something happens by chance, follow up. Focused people, not lucky people. Focused people tend to notice and act on good things that occur by happenstance. Next one, believe that good things will happen. Expectations have a way of coming true. Yeah, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna fall, or I'm gonna slip on this ice, or I'm not gonna make this. I'm not gonna make this shot. I'm not gonna hit this golf ball. I'm not gonna. That person's gonna say no when they ask them out. You start thinking in negativity, you're drawing it. Not only are you drawing it, but if you're going into a situation that involves another person, you're kind of showing that your confidence is not at that level. You don't have the level of confidence needed to get the good thing that you're expecting, right? Believe that good things will happen. Believe Believe that good things will happen. Now, if you don't get that job, if you don't get that date, maybe it wasn't meant to be. But don't go in there with a negative belief, in your mind that'll affect, what comes out of your mouth and what's in your heart and what's in your spirit. Believe that good things will happen. Expectations have a way of coming true the majority of the time, right? So do your part. We're talking about think about what you think about, and the link to the article is in the comments. Feel free to share this video so your friends can check the article out for themselves. Maybe check out the video and see what we're discussing about today, and I'd really appreciate it. All right, next bullet point. When bad things happen, look for the bright side. Simple. Ask, what did I learn from that? Or how do I keep it from happening again? Don't dwell on it. Move on. When bad things happen, don't dwell on it. Move on. If you spend time trying to, dissect everything that went wrong and you're dwelling, what could I have done differently, blah, 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 and just stay there, you're not getting any forward progress. You're not getting any forward momentum. You're definitely not looking for other opportunities. You're not focused on what you want to happen in your life. When bad things happen, look for the bright side. There's always a silver lining, right? Ask, what did I learn from that? Make that, failure into a lesson. Learn something from however you feel was a failure. Ask, what did I learn from that? Or how do I keep it from happening again? It's like, how did I fail that test? I should have studied more. Well, yeah, you should have studied more, right? So how do you keep that from happening again? Study more, right? Have that confidence in yourself and envision yourself believing that good things will happen. Remember, don't dwell on it. Move on. It says, this is funny. If the horse dies, dismount. Don't continue to pour money and effort into a lost cause. How many of us are guilty of this? Oh, it's like, oh man, you just stay on it and stay on it and stay on it, even though you're like, this is done. I don't know why. Just dismount if the horse is dead. If you're not making any forward progress, unless the horse died on a really slippery, muddy hill and you're just gonna sliding down on the horse. No, that's not what we're talking about. If the horse dies, dismount. Don't continue to pour money and effort and focus and energy into a lost cause. Consider it a lesson. The cause is lost. Learn from it. What did I learn from that? And how do I keep it from happening again? Right? Don't dwell on it. Move on. If the horse dies, dismount. That's funny. Next one. This is interesting. Don't look for love in the wrong places. Not just romantic love, but the love of stuff. Stuff is okay. But understand the delusion of I'll be happy when I have this or that, or when I live over there, or when this happens. Look, happiness is a state of mind in which our thinking is pleasant most of the time. If you're constantly thinking about how you're going to be happier, if only. I'll be happy if that's not pleasant thinking, right? That's not thinking pleasant most of the time. You're thinking about how you're not happy. You're thinking about how life would be better. Whereas where you're at right now could benefit from your positive thoughts right now, thereby increasing your pleasantness right now, not if. Because how many times have you said, man, if I buy that shirt, if I buy those shoes, if I whatever, if that, oh, I'll be happy. Or if I buy that new car, how many times has there been buyer's remorse? Where you have that initial, happiness, whatever, then after a while it's like, well, maybe if I had this, you know what I mean? There's always something else. The grass is always greener. The grass is always greener on the other side. Whereas look at where you're at. And let's say, okay, I'm not saying you have to be happy with exactly what everything you have, but don't be distracted by things that are non-existent. They're there in theory, right? So be happy with where you are right now. Focus on what is going to get you further. and keep going, right? So, again, don't look for love in the wrong places, not just romantic love, but the love of stuff. Stuff is okay, but understand the delusion of I'll be happy when I have this or that, or when I live over there, I'll be happy, or I'll be happy when this happens. Happiness is a state of mind in which our thinking is pleasant most of the time. Give thanks when you wake up, right? Gratitude, gratitude. Live a life of gratitude. Give thanks, and you'll find yourself. It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference living in a with a life of gratitude. I'm happy that we have another day together to change our lives. Right. Next one, and the article is "Think About What You Think About" from Success.com, and the link is right there in the comments. Failure is a choice made by the undisciplined. Failing to meet your objectives, regardless of what they are, is a choice because something else has been given higher priority. If you fail, it is because you choose to fail. Let me put on that saco and put on that coat. Oh, that fits so well. Man. Yikes. But it all goes back to focus, right? All goes back to what are you focusing on? What are you dedicating your time, energy, and thoughts on to get you where you need to go? It's all going back to that. Failure is a choice made by the undisciplined. The undisciplined. Failing to meet your objectives. What is your objective? Do you want to learn a new language? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to recruit more people? Do you want to get more sales? Do you want to get to your name better known, well known? Do you want more friends? What is your objective? Failing to meet your objectives, regardless of what they are, is a choice because something else has been given higher priority. What have you been giving higher priority to that is keeping you from reaching your objectives? Are you giving a higher priority to watching TV? Are you giving a higher priority to saying, I'll do it later? Are you giving a higher priority to things that are against what your objectives need to be completed? Like, oh, I need to make more sales. Okay. But I'm just going to stay here and I'm not going to reach out to people. You know what I mean? What are your objectives? Failing to meet your objectives, regardless of what they are, is a choice because something else has been given priority. If you fail, it is because you choose to fail. That's harsh. That's harsh because nobody likes to be told you're failing because it's your fault. Nobody likes to hear that. It's your fault that you're failing. Why is it my fault? Okay, well, what do you want? Well, I want to reach more people. How many people did you reach out to today? One. All right, so how are you going to get a multitude of people if you only reach out to one person? And when you talk to that person, did you ask for other people that you can talk to? Well, no, I didn't want to intrude, or I didn't want them to feel I was pushy. Okay, so, if you fail, it is because you choose to fail, giving higher priority to something else other than what will lead you to complete and to successfully complete and meet your objectives. Like my daughter sometimes goes, those faces. So how are we failing? How are we failing our objectives? How are we failing ourselves? Ask yourself that. Next, you don't catch depression and you don't catch happiness. You create them by the thoughts you put into your mind. Speaking of things putting into my body, let's try this coffee. Passable, not great. Jamaican blend coffee mixed with, I think, Houston blend cafe au lait. Not too bad, but not great. It's still good. You don't catch depression and you don't catch happiness. You create them by the thoughts you put into your mind. Think about what you think about. Carefully choose what you read, listen to, and the people with whom you associate. Carefully choose what you read, listen to, and the people with whom you associate. Let's look at those three. What do you read? What do you read that is shaping somehow your thought process regarding your happiness or your state of mind? What do you read? Are you only reading negativity, or are you only focusing on like the news? You can look for positive news. But for the most part, can we agree that it kind of only tells us what's going wrong in the world for the majority? You know? So what do you read? What are you putting into your mind? Are you putting in positive things, power of positive thinking, how to win friends and influence people, science of getting rich, think and grow rich? I'm just looking at some of the books that I have. You know, I don't have them here with me. Awaken the Giant Within. I just started that one. So what are you reading to create and form and kind of move your mind into the direction you want it to go? What are you reading? Do a review and an inventory of what you're reading, and then see, well, how am I feeling these days? Am I feeling inspired? Am I feeling motivated? Am I feeling positive? Or do I have a negative outlook on life? Do I have a kind of a bummer outlook on life? What do you listen to? Same thing. Are you listening to motivational speakers? Are you listening to personal development speakers? Are you listening to, spiritual guidance, if that's your thing? What are you listening to, and how is that affecting your state of mind? Or are you listening to just negative people yelling and people being upset and people blah, blah, blah? And how is that affecting you? Is it bringing you down? Or is what you're listening to lifting you up? Last but not least, carefully choose the people with whom you associate. That is a big feeder into what your state of mind and your place in your life leads to. The people with whom you associate. Are you associating people that are always bringing you down? Oh, every time I see them, they complain about stuff. Every time I see them, they complain about this. They complain about that. They tell me about the latest thing that's going wrong. Or are you associating with people that want more out of life and want positivity out of life, want more spirituality out of life, want to make you happy, want to push you up, want to help you up, want to help you pull other people up, and want to make a difference in the world? Who are the people with whom you associate? You choose who you associate with. But they're my family. Do you have to be with your family 24/7? And are you going to allow someone in your family, just by virtue of the fact that they are a part of your family, to negatively impact your state of mind and your life? That's your decision. You can distance yourself from them. Can I be kind of blunt? You don't owe them your state of mind. You don't owe them that. Your life is your life. Oh, but it's my mom. Your life is your life. She gave it to you? Yes. You have to live your life. What do you want with your life? It's rough. It's a hard decision. Thinking about that, thinking about distancing yourself or just not allowing someone's negativity to affect you negatively because they're your relative or maybe even someone you thought you loved. It's hard. It's not easy. But ultimately, it is your life that you have to lead. The end point, the end game of your life is dependent on your choices. Carefully choose what you read, what you listen to, and the people with whom you associate. As I like to say, every single moment you're alive is a chance at rebirth. Why? Because every single moment we have is a choice. We choose. We choose what we listen to, we choose what we watch, and we choose the people in our life. And we choose how their actions affect us. It's been said, over and over again, some people just want to see other people suffer. Some men just want to see the world burn. There may be someone who just wants to see you unhappy. If you give them the power over your happiness, they win. If you take the power away from them, you can win. You choose, you decide what your life is going to be. Visualize what you want your life to be. Make it happen. You can do it. We're going to go over these tips one more time. From the very beginning, I'm just going to read it straight through because it's great. The article is Think About What You Think About. It says there are 6 simple words in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, published in 1937, that have made all the difference to me. We become what we think about. Write those words down. We become what we think about. Bullet point 1. Think about what you think about. If you catch yourself thinking about unhappiness, ill health, and adversity, change the channel and think about what you want to happen. 2. When something happens by chance, follow up. It says lucky people, but I say focused people tend to notice and act on good things that occur by happenstance. 3. Believe that good things will happen. Expectations have a way of coming true. 4. When bad things happen, look for the bright side. Ask, what did I learn from that? Or how do I keep it from happening again? Don't dwell on it. Move on. 5. If the horse dies, dismount. Don't continue to pour money and effort into a lost cause. 6. Don't look for love in the wrong places. Not just romantic love, which is important, but the love of stuff. Stuff is okay, but understand the delusion of, I'll be happy when I have this or that. Or the delusion of, I'll be happy when I live over there. Or I'll be happy when this happens. Happiness is a state of mind in which our thinking is pleasant most of the time. 7. Failure is a choice made by the undisciplined. Failing to meet your objectives, regardless of what they are, is a choice because something else has been given higher priority. If you fail, it is because you choose to fail. And 8, you don't catch depression. You don't catch happiness. You create them by the thoughts you put into your mind. Carefully choose what you read, listen to, and the people with whom you associate. This article was more impactful for me because just yesterday, before I looked this article up, just yesterday I sent myself this quote. Since belief is all important, it is essential to guard your thoughts. And as your beliefs will be shaped to a very great extent by the things you observe and think about, it is important that you should command your attention. And here the will comes into use, for it is by your will that you determine upon what things your attention shall be fixed. That all goes back to choosing what you read, listen to, and the people with whom you associate. All came together. I read this quote yesterday. I read this article or find this article today. Think about what you think about and change your outlook. Control your state of mind and change the path of your life into where you want it to be. I know you can do it. Every single day you're alive, every single moment you're alive, it's a chance of rebirth. Al Guevara. Remember, knowledge is power, imagination is king, and intelligence your weapon. Read a good book today, enrich your mind. Have yourself a wonderful day. Have yourself a great week. Hope to be back on Wednesday at 8 a.m. with something new. So until then, we'll be talking.